Hello everyone, Zerda back again, this time with our Temur Reclamation deck. Finally in the last video got the next, or third copy of Uro, the last one I'll be playing in this deck, but still looking to get one more Mythic Wild card obviously, to build the, or I guess craft the fourth Uro, and play a few different decks. I've got a decent number of brews set up for when that happens, and I think it'll be fairly fun there. I've replaced our Omen of the Seas with Witching Wells because we have the mana to crack it. It gives us something to do with one mana left over. And honestly, just the card advantage, I feel, is going to be a lot more relevant than anything else we could have. Other than that, pretty standard, playing 4 Shark Typhoon instead of 3 because Teferi is a nightmare and I want to have as many answers to him as possible, and, you know, cycling through is also not bad. Blast Zone because, once again, answer to Teferi. Key to Triomes at 3 because we play a lot of lands, and sometimes I want a little less lands, so I can cycle them away. Also taps for all of our mana. 1 negate, I'm not playing any Essence Scatter. I feel like we can't afford to sit around and hope we draw our 1-of. I feel as a 1-of, Essence Scatter isn't that great, especially when we don't have much else to interact with creatures. I do think I want to try something out for the more aggressive decks. I think a good way I could do it right now is Augur of Bolas in the Witching Well slot, which is something I'll try out at some point. Just a roadblock for mono red, at least for a few turns, like 2 turns maybe, which can honestly buy us all the time we need for Wilderness Rec to take over. I don't like it as much because it can't find our Wilderness Reclamation, but I do like that it is a pseudo anticipate that also, you know, blocks a little bit of early game aggression. I think it's still a very good card. We're just in a standard filled with absolutely absurd cards, so anyway, let's go ahead and head right into some matches. See if we can get back out of silver. I lost a decent amount of ranking trying to find the right build for these brews, and of course I play in ranked because I don't want to go into the standard events. You play a lot of weird stuff in there. Be better for my rankings though. Alright, so on the play, turn 2, Scorching Dragonfire, hold up Mystical Dispute for anything they might be trying to do into a Wilderness Wreck. I really like this hand. It just needs, you know, some form of card draw. I suppose I'll lead on Steam Vents so that I don't have to shock myself next turn. Just play an island and hold up both Dispute for a blue spell, which I doubt will do, and Scorching Dragonfire otherwise. Breeding Pool makes me think it's even less likely we're gonna need to Scorching here, but, you know, let's do what we should. Let's not make any assumptions. They could flash in a creature. I'm not going to counter a Growth Spiral, although I suppose I should give it some thought since I played this land tapped. And if we're playing the Mirror and they get down a Reclamation before us, that's a really bad spot to be in. Alright, it's just a Risen Reef. I'm gonna dispute that. Risen Reef drawing a bunch of cards isn't something I'm interested in letting my opponent do. So I'll just stop them from drawing even the first card. Slow them down a lot there. Gonna crack this for another red source. That is the color we will need the most eventually. Well, not the most of, but second most. Play a wreck. Next turn we'll play the second wreck, cycle our key to Triome. Uro resolves. No problems with the Uro there. Resolve. And remember, if you don't like the sound of my voice, please feel free to mute me. I will not take it personally. I would also like to remind you all to please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow, and honestly, I'm hoping to turn this into something I can do with my life. Live that dream of, hey, I play Magic for a living. I know I'm not gonna... I shouldn't say I know I'm not gonna get there. I'm not the most optimistic. Just given the odds, but hey, if I can, I want to, you know. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So for 5, yeah, I think going for 5 is well worth it. Red, resolve. red, green to make this easy to count. Resolve. Is that more than 5? So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I didn't think I had that much. Well. Now, there's a good chance this gets countered, but, oh, I was expecting a mystical dispute. I'll gladly take no mystical dispute, though. Alright, so here, I'll keep a Scorching Dragonfire. I'm going to discard the Stomping Ground and the Temple. Keep the Triomes. Plan on making an absolutely gargantuan shark. There's the Cavalier. No worries about anything that can do. I'll leave up 2 mana, I suppose. Never know what the opponent might be planning. Also gonna play 1 Triome here. This is the last land I'm going to want. And it's kind of arguable if I even wanted that. Color no longer matters. And the opponent didn't have a mystical dispute, and they're not interested in seeing what monstrous bomb we plop down during our own end step. I will gladly claim that prize, Shimmerwing Chimera. And head into our second game of the day. And let's see what our opponent is doing. Alright, so turn 1 Witching Well, turn 2 Growth Spiral. Hold up Mystical Dispute against Luris. We have a Blast Zone. I'm not excited about what our opponent might be able to do to us, but alright, it's the Cycling deck. I'm pretty sure that's the worst Luris deck we could be playing against here. We're gonna try and find a Reclamation. Not sure what else we can really do here. No, we've got... Well, I suppose we don't have the most efficient use of our mana, because next turn we're going to Breeding Pool, Growth Spiral, and I'd like to be able to scry again after that, although that is 4 life. 2 shocks is a lot less damage, all things considered, than an extra turn with this Fox. This Fox is this turn, I would be surprised if it doesn't do more than 2 damage to us, so we're gonna try and maximize what we can keep. Alright, so Valiant Rescuer was the other nightmare there. Going to shock twice here, unless we draw a basic island. Yes, we will shock again. And play second Witching Well. While we do need another green source eventually for the Uro, for now we don't really want it. And these are a little bit of an experiment. I'm not honestly sure if they're better than the Omen of the Seas or not. I was thinking initially that they were, but I hadn't quite tested them yet. Alright. So they held their cycle till our turn to get another token, which makes me think they don't have as many cycling cards, or they have some that cycles for 2. Debating here if I want to Uro or Cracker Witching Well. I think I want to Uro. It informs my plays the most. And keeps me the most alive, ramps me the most, by which I mean at all. Alright, excellent. Enters tapped. We have a wreck. Oh boy, do I miss the olden days of this being the end of the game. You know, I just tap that land, untap all of them, take an extra turn, take an extra turn. Who doesn't like taking extra turns? Isn't that what you play Magic to do? Take your turn. And who cares about the opponent, right? They can concede. They're just here to watch you. Like you're here to watch me. They're a captive audience, not to be confused with the card captive audience, which is quite bad. When will I leave this tangent? I don't know. When you comment down below that I should honestly stop, and also that I should stop shilling for my own channel. Can't shill for yourself, but hey, you're allowed to be wrong. This is America after all, and it makes me want to cry. What was that? No, I never said anything dissenting about my nation. I never do that. Moving along. Make the giant stomp. Realize I don't think there's a single way we survive this. Contemplate crying. Put a stop on our end step. Take a long, hard look at yourself. And ask yourself, what is your out? Is there one? Decide these are questions best asked later. Oh, doesn't matter. Draw some cards. And concede the game. So their Witching Well was a little weird. It did give us the opportunity to set up our draws a little bit more early game than say Omen would have, but it also didn't, you know, let us draw the cards. So in aggro against a fast start, I'm gonna say it's not as good, but we don't know enough for anything else. I'll keep this 7. Lead on a temple. Look for preferably a growth spiral. I suppose also a land. That's kind of all we want here. We play enough lands though that I can just ship that. In searching for the growth spiral. Uh-oh, nice. The deck with 2 tri-lands. Let's give ourselves some green. In case we draw, you know, Uro. The best of the best. Yep. Here we come. Or here they come, we take 4. Some decent amount of damage. I say decent as if it's not, in fact, the most. So, I'm gonna go ahead and play out a mountain here with the plan of creating a Shark Typhoon token for their Venerable Knight. And blocking some of the damage at least. We're not in a great spot here though. See what they grow. Alright. X equals 1. I imagine if they don't just grow their Knight of the Eben Legion, that we're going to be seeing a removal spell here. That's fine. It's also great because it means that that doesn't grow from its own ability this turn. Now we're not liking having to do that, but this Reclamation 100% had to come down this turn. Not sure what our opponent's holding their mana up for. Blacklands Paragon. They waited for our Thassa's Intervention to be online, for which I am eternally grateful to them. Because we need to stop that. With all of our mana, I suppose. No reason to pay less. We don't have anything else going on, and There's nothing that they could, or that them playing around would help us with. Honestly, I'd rather them pump it on their turn as well, which is another thing that you might have been. But wait, they might not pump. Well, I want them to pump because it makes it easier to kill it with Expansion Explosion. So I think we still need to hit a land here, though. Whew. Alright, so they can't pump, but not the best at all. Alright, great. We hit the land. Is something we needed to do here. We'll play the Reclamation. 3, 4. I'm gonna play the Witching Well because we still have enough to kill the Knight of the Ebon Legion. No, I'm not. I'm gonna go ahead and pass so that we can draw a removal spell in addition and be able to hopefully stay alive. Blue. Resolve. Blue. Blue. Red. Red. Blue. Resolve. So we could go for up to 7, we only need to go for 5. Which I believe leaves us with 2 mana untapped. Alright. I know how to math. Excellent, and we drew the Scorching Dragonfire we wanted to. Although here, I'm saying it is up to debate, but I'm just going to pass. This way, when they attack, I get to kill the Acclaimed Contender after they've tried to pump it. Or I get to kill the Inspiring Veteran, which I believe does more. There's X, and I gain, and they gain. So, they're adventuring it. And yeah, I was going to kill the Inspiring Veteran anyway. Which, no, that was wrong. I should have killed the Acclaimed Contender when they played it. Taken. Yeah, I horribly, horribly miscounted once they played that. I was thinking, okay, killing that does the most. Completely ignoring common sense. I do not deserve to be in gold. Uh-oh. This again. Right. Oh, looks like we're back. No, we are not. Looks like we're back. No, we are not. I'm gonna hope that doesn't happen in-game. I'm gonna see what I can do about that. I'll be right back here. Sorry about the inconvenience right in the middle of the video. I know this is great, great TV. Just the best, honestly. Alright, let's see. Connection is fine here. Reopen Arena. And let's wait and hope that this works. And that Wizard's ability to make a digital program is not, in fact, the worst. Give you a little heads up. It really isn't the worst. It's just not the best. It's not where it should be. It's a lot better, at least looking, than Magic Online, though. And, hey, I'll give it that. Also, I'm just trying to divert attention away from the fact that my computer is definitely the thing at fault here. Well, not the computer, but the Wi-Fi. And that, it's really, really easy to shift blame for everything onto Wizards. I mean, they are the ones who decided to print Luris, after all. How is it also not their fault that this game isn't working perfectly? See? Uh-oh. Arena is... There we go. Going first on the play. Growth Spiral, Uro, lands. Yeah, that's a keeper. I'll lead on the Triome. Triome. Whatever mispronunciation you would like the most. Turn 2, Shot, Growth Spiral, Fabled Passage. Shock, Growth Spiral, Fabled Passage. They know what's up here. I'm gonna go ahead and find a suppose a green source for the Euro eventually. Next turn we get 2 chances to hit our land drop. Didn't even need them. I'm going to growth spiral here because no. I'm gonna Uro. No matter what, I still have a chance to do both. Pay 2. And against Yorion, my life total doesn't matter as much, so I'm gonna leave open the option for either Mystical Dispute or Growth Spiral. We will dispute it to Fairy with extreme prejudice. And I think that's what we're going to be doing. Ooh, even worse. No, thank you. Goodbye, Narset. Get out of here. Don't worry, Narset, I'll see you later in Legacy. Still have mana left open after this. I'm gonna go ahead and Growth Spiral now. Hit my land drops. Enters tapped. End turn. The Narset's a little much. It effectively shuts down our Uro, shuts down our explosion from being, you know, good. I'm going to Mystical Dispute here. Dispute while the disputant is good. And I'm going to put the Uro back into play. Who said that I need to play at instant speed for this deck to work? Who said it? They lied. Uro is down. We're a tempo deck, boys. Oh. We, never underestimate the power of luck. Drawing the 3rd Mystical Dispute. This is what it's like to be on the other side of this for once from Yorion. Fires is fine. This is the last turn. Dispute can do anything, so here's really, really hoping it does anything. Play the Yorion? No? You want to save it for a turn it does anything? I understand, opponent. Oh. Oh. We're getting there. Alright, not our best draw, but I feel like that doesn't exactly need said when our best draw is very blatantly a Wilderness Reclamation. Yeah, I think making a Shark at their end step is probably the best, especially because it leaves open Dispute and Intervention their entire turn. Hard casting a Shark Typhoon, just kind of unnecessary here. That said, we will Thassa's Intervention to protect. Oh, can't stop that. Opponent drawing a card, trying to stay alive. Elspeth conquers nothing on my watch. I didn't need to put counters on anything. I think I'm also going to Scorching Dragonfire their Shark here. Getting in for another 6 damage is pretty good. And it puts Expansion Explosion to reasonably lethal even without a Reclamation, which I think is the tipping point. I think otherwise we'd have... Didn't they already cast 2 spells? Oh no, they cycled, that's right. That's right. My bad. Here we go. Swing in for 6. We've gained enough life. Let's just get as much mana as we can. We don't mind their chump. I'm once again waiting till their end step though. Just because it gives us the most possible different options. Such as casting this x equals 3. Let's see, because that's 2, 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. X equals 3. Auto pay, because it doesn't truly matter here. Just trying to keep our Uro alive to draw one more card. Gain us 3 more life, which is a lot less relevant, and basically just trying to get it to win this game for us. Showcasing the power of Uro plus counters. Alright, if our opponent doesn't block, we win. And if they do block, we honestly probably win anyway. Put in the Fable Passage. We'll crack it before we play the Temple. Alright, opponent wise enough to see that the not blocking isn't truly a line when it leaves you dead to one of the very prominent cards in our deck. We will be throwing that explosion at them during the end step. I think it's likely enough at this point that we have enough cards that it just straight up kills them, especially with the Scry. We don't need more lands. Actually, that being said, I think it's better to make the Shark Typhoon token, because if we whiff, we're still left with a large enough creature that it kills them. There's one of their spells. I think that means they're planning on casting Yorion this turn. I think they are. No? Well, they're not allowed to do anything on our turn, so I believe 8 is our max. Yep. All attack. Put in another Blast Zone. Hit them for lethal. Not sure if the opponent just misclicked, but we did have them dead either way there. I'm not entirely sure why they just cast. No, I suppose they were just hoping for the best there, which is honestly probably the line. They definitely played those, and no, they didn't have the option to play them in a different order. I was gonna say if they had played the Shark Typhoon first, it was a little stronger, giving them the 2/2 to block, but they just legitimately could not do that. It was not an option open to them. So here we jump into another game with temur, waiting for server. I'm gonna check my Wi-Fi again, hope that everything's working. Yep, seems to be. Or it seems that the problem righted itself before I could check. So, one thing I have been considering doing is making a Discord for this channel. Just anybody can join. Would just have it so that we could discuss ideas for future videos, any styles of decks you'd want to see, which decks you'd rather I play next time I'm, posting a video, and preferred times you would like to see uploaded. I'm gonna try and start getting a backload of videos so that I can set them to upload every day at 7:30, and it'll eventually doing it that way. Once I have enough of them loaded, give me time to start learning to edit and getting these videos to be a little bit higher quality, less uhs and hmms. Maybe even just remove my voice entirely so that you don't have to listen to it and can just enjoy the wonderful games of Magic and yell at the punts. Honestly, that's not going to happen. A draw? What? That's, okay. I wonder what that was. Try that again. Ooh, FNM at home popper. That lets you know that this video was, in fact, recorded ahead of time. But hey, I've got to start building up a backlog so that I can, get these videos coming out every day at a reasonable time. This hand is definitely a Snapkeeper. Just, easy growth spiral into Wilderness Wreck. We just need to draw anything. No companion and Blood Crypt doesn't exactly give me pause or cause for concern. Might give me pause if there's a cat though. Oh, they're drawing us cards. Alright. That's Stomping Ground. Shocked. Growth Spiral now. Just saving ourselves some time. We're not gonna shock again. And that is making me feel we would definitely prefer to have the, what do you call it? The, Thassa's, or Omen of Thassa, or whatever it was. The 2-mana scry. Is that also a knight? That is also a knight. That is unfortunate. Taking a lot of damage. Didn't expect the knight stack, but you know what they say about the Spanish Inquisition, and it killed a lot of people too. Lot of people. Alright, we'll take that draw. Hope they regret it. Nope. There's no time for regrets on the value train. Choo choo, we're going to lose. Taking a fairly absurd amount of damage here. Up. Didn't realize it was our priority. Oh boy. I suppose I should have. You know what? I still have time. Resolve this growth spiral, see if we can find a Scorching Dragonfire to try and kill their Stormfist. No, we cannot. Do we win this by shocking? 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't win it by not shocking, they just have lethal next turn anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and pay the life. And we'll put in the breeding pool because we don't want to shock again. That puts us dead a little too quickly to just anything. Put a stop at my end step. Black Lance Paragon, they're going to gain some life. Ha ho! Blast Zone is a good draw, which is also unfortunate because it kind of says what we're doing here, which is blowing up the gigantic 1-drops. Holy cow. Alright. So we do need to have both Uro and Scorching. Alright. 2 untaps, I think we get there. So end turn. Triggers on stack. Counter. Red mana. Resolve. We're gonna save this blowing up for the last counter, mind you. Gives us the most mana that way. So 1, 2. Let's go ahead and tap all of our mana first. Get more blue, because we're shockingly low on it, despite it being very important. Blow up the 1-drops. That is the first thing that we have to do. Resolve that. Shame about that, but you know. Alright, so here we go. So 1, 2. One, 2, 3, 4. 5. 6. And we'll draw. Auto pay because it leaves open some red. Resolve. Kill that. Draw Scorching Dragonfire. Double Uro. That's nice. And Dragonfire their Black Lance. And there you have it. Clear board. Avoid any kind of somehow being burned out, and I think we've got there off the power of double Uro. I'm not even talking about the ones in our hand, just our plans for next turn. Just play, bring it back. Here we go. Uro 1. Is that our connection? Alright, even if it was, everything seems to be in order now. Resolve. Forest. Submit. Resolve. Play back out the Euro. Auto pay. We have no way of getting our graveyard back, so it doesn't much matter what we're doing here. Resolve, come back in Euro, gain us some more life, draw some more cards. Pretty please. We'll play the Fabled Passage off the Euro trigger. Crack it. Grab doesn't truly matter here. We're very, very far ahead. Island, I suppose. Does matter. It's all we could. Temple of Abandon. Scry. What do we want? Not lands, I suppose. And here's where the game gets really ugly. We're gonna need to just tap lands for it doesn't matter what color. Just trying to get them tapped at all. Resolve. And make a, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Why not? One-shot shark, let's go. Perfect mana here for doing exactly this. Good luck, opponent. Can you kill us at 10? And survive the shark attack. The Sharknado's coming. Oh, that is the correct thing. There's no way to win without doing that. And I'm not about to, you know, not block. So let's see what they do. Embercleave. On to the Worthy Knight. Not enough to kill. It is enough to kill the Uro. Not enough to kill us, though. And we 17 them with our giant Sky Shark, I suppose. Alright, there you have it. You have learned today that Uro is a good magic card. Who'd have known? Hey, I actually needed that for shark control. It's actually a good one. Also, for the mono blue flash deck I've been working on. It's going to be basically the more well-known version, I suppose, but I'm trying to see if I can do it on a budget. The answer is looking like no, at which point you won't see the one that I've made, but, you know, just the mono blue flash deck eventually from this channel. Which is actually pretty powerful. Just a shame that, there's all this other stuff going on in Standard. All this free mana stuff that I honestly find pretty fun. Less fun than a flash deck, but hey, you do what gets the clicks, am I right? No, I'm not. I should honestly be playing something I enjoy. I think that'd be a lot better content. Alright, let's see. So they're the Prey Piercer. And that is a card normally seen in aristocraty builds, so mild concern. Blue's more important than red. We'll just growth spiral here. It's going to be pretty easy to leave open Thassa's Intervention for if it looks like they're going to hit 5 mana. So next turn we'll leave open the Thassa's. The pump is kind of real. So there's some debate. Yeah, I think getting one of these down is actually a little more important right now. That card represented the most damage. It'd be nice to get rid of those without getting a token generated off of it, but we do what we can. Play out the Blast Zone. Blast Zone just because it's an untapped land that doesn't telegraph the obvious, hey, we have a counterspell in hand. Ugh, Heraldic Banner. Number 2. I don't want to deal with creatures that big. I don't want to deal with 2 3/1s. That's a much, much bigger clock than 2 2/1s. And we still have the Thassa's Intervention. Oh, that would have been quite a bit of damage. That Fabled Passage. Pass the turn. Alright, so they're going to combat. I'm gonna find a island, forest, mountain. Forest, because Uro is one of our better draws. Just trying to decide, because they can make it unblockable. But I think I'd rather they use their mana like that than on the pump. So, I'm gonna make a 2/2. If they were, you know, just playing around the counterspell here, then more power to them. I think they're just gonna pump anyway. We're taking a lot of damage here. Wilderness Wreck I don't think does it. Gonna put a stop on our end step. Yeah, I think we're just all around too slow this matchup, which honestly I should have seen coming, but yeah, I can still blow this up, right? If I Growth Spiral. No, I can't. So I'll just pass turn. Plan currently is to blow up the Blast Zone, kill their 1-drops. Suppose we should do it now. Be sad about our life choices. They get a single 2/2. And we die. I guess we never caught the Ginger Brute. Or we did catch the Ginger Brute at about face level. His fist was quite tasty, but ultimately led to our demise. And into the final game of the day, or at least of the video. You don't know what day it is. You don't know what time it is. You know all of these things because of the video, but you know none of it. None, I say. Opponent goes first. This hand is not great. The Witching Well makes it a little more reasonable to keep something that doesn't have colors, but I'd only do that if I had the Reclamation and the Growth Spiral. Say if the Shark Typhoon or this Expansion Explosion were a Wilderness Reclamation, I'd keep this, just try and find a forest for my turn to ship literal anything else. Try and Growth Spiral into that, but as it is, this is a mulligan. I'll keep this. I don't really get to have much better hands than, you know, lands and spells in a 28 land deck. Which is even less than most people run in here, so don't tell me I should run less. I am running less. Most people are up to 29 or 30. Which, like, I get it. You want to hit every single land drop in this deck. Don't want to miss even one. At least not early. Gonna put in the Temple. I'm not sure what I'm looking for here, so I suppose maybe I shouldn't have. Well, it's not a Triome. 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 Uh-oh. Alright. Narset is not what we wanted to see even a little here. And a Casualties of War? Gross. Alright, at least we'll be able to counter it with our Thassa's Intervention. Grab a island. We only have one blue source. Play the wreck. And as much as it pains me to say this, I think our plan is legitimately to wait for them to downtick that, and during their turn, explosion it for 1.
Meditate and prepare.
Oh boy. Well, they don't have the mana to stop us, so... Well, at least we hope they don't. They might. And if they do, that's bad. So let's hope they don't. There was some thought given to just expansioning it, but I don't like that. And I'm 100% going to counter if I have the opportunity instead of let it resolve. I just get to choose what they take. Is the only difference there. Unless, of course, they have the dispute. Ugh, Assassin's Trophy. Alright, you Assassin's Trophy us. Stopping their upkeep before I don't forget. Or before I do forget. Alright, so now, play the temple. We get to scry at least. We want that. Not gonna do it in their upkeep after all. I'd rather they, you know, play out whatever they're going to play out. If they counter this, it's not great for us, but I'm not sure it's the end of the world. Neutralize, that is fine. Gonna pass turn. I know this is letting them use their Thassa's intervention, but honestly, I'm not sure we get to play around it and get any kind of value. I'm just kind of hoping for them to tap a little bit lower. Or I could wait for exactly that. Not gonna play that out yet. I'm gonna, during their upkeep, for real this time, cast the Scorching Dragonfire, kill the Narset. No, I'm not. I'm gonna wait till their end step, when they're at their lowest mana-wise, and I know exactly what I might need to do. Okay. So here, I'm going to Scorching Dragonfire the Narset.
I shall miss your company.
And I'm going to Expansion the Thought Erasure. And I don't much care if they Thassa's intervention to stop it, because that's kind of what I want to take anyway. It would also stop them from deploying. Cannot pay for. So that's what I wanted to discard. We lose our wreck. And our best draw is, unfortunately, a card we've already seen quite a few of. Cycle, because we'd like to hit a Uro. Or that. We will just draw 2 with this, most likely. We're fine with them having a Murderous Rider in play. Would we like a little more selection? We don't really need the selection. We just need to be doing anything. And honestly, even hitting land drops in the face of potential LD isn't the worst thing we could be doing. We also have more card draw we can chain off of this that we could hit. So I'll just take the raw card advantage if they'll let me have it. This really makes me think they have some kind of counterspell though. Holding on to the Blast Zone because of the casualties of war. There's the card advantage I was talking about. I want both of those. And the order doesn't much matter given that I'm going to crack the Witching Well at the end of their turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. I suppose I'll just play the Blast Zone, after all. If they want a casualties to kill it, I'm not opposed to that. And it lets me keep up Witching Well and Thassa's Intervention unless I'm just absolutely insane. Yep, lets me keep up both. Does the auto tapper let me though? Am I going to just let it stop me? Who knows? Questions to all that and more are found 3 seconds from now. Alright, draw our 2 cards. Both of which are pretty decent. Go to our turn. Let's see. I will shock because of their lifelink. And my want for a 7/7 that will kill them in 3 turns as opposed to 2. Of course, I'm probably not going to make the shark block. Oof. Alright. It's going to be like that, opponent. I was hoping to draw some cards with this, but so I've got to do this for 3. Because I do want to protect my hand. This means I'll be Scorching Dragon firing the Murderous Rider. And I do believe it is worth hitting the Murderous Rider here because of the lifelink and it throwing off our shark math. We do still need to draw another counterspell to protect our shark, but it's not the end of the world if the shark goes down. And it looks like we are lucky enough to not have to worry about what happens if the shark goes down. See what the opponent's doing at our end step. I think they might have their own shark they can make, and they're debating on setting it loose already. Cycle a land away. Very powerful ability to have access to. Lands that once you've hit this stage, you can just go, how about now? Especially because early game, they give you perfect mana as long as you're not a mad lad in more than 3 colors. And this is the reason that I was, very greedy to Scorching Dragonfire the Murderous Rider. I was kind of banking on less turns for them to try and draw it, but oh well, because right there I would have been able to Scorching Dragonfire the Uro, and then its death trigger would cause it to still be exiled. That would be fairly powerful. But alas, the greed is real. I believe 7 is the most. Yep. So I did count right. 7 is a 3-turn clock still. Here we're hoping that they use the Casualties of War for us to negate. Or cast anything before the Uro. But alas, the Uro came first. And with it, so did our hopes of killing in 2 turns as opposed to 3. I think it's pretty clear our opponent's holding something up here, although I don't know what. Enters tapped. I'd rather like an Uro of my own, or Witching Well, either way. Basically the same card, right? Well, I don't need another Mystical Dispute or land. Swinging in, I lose that race. gonna go ahead and see what I should do. This leaves me open enough mana to do that. Using the Mystical Dispute here, just because it's the most efficient use of my mana, and the most efficient waste of theirs. Enters tapped. I will not be Growth Spiraling during their end step no matter what here, because I need to be holding up that negate in case of another Eat to Extinction or similar. Phew. I stand corrected. Take the mountain. The reason I did not negate there is because it would have just let them Casualties of War for more. And I don't feel like making the definite removal spell on my creature even in it also destroying the land. Also, I can hopefully negate the Narset like this. And I could. Lead on Growth Spiral, the cheaper of the draw spell options. It's not Neuro, but it's not the end of the world. Decline. Pass turn. Here I will use the Shark Typhoon to kind of just stand in front of their Uro, trade with it. We'll trade with the casualties, I suppose. Oof. Oh, only a 2/2. Was not thinking there. Was thinking it'd be much larger. They will attack. Draw a card. There's a sorcery. Pace 7, I believe. Nope, no reason not to make it an 8/8. Reason might have been I could have still cycled my Triome. Nice, we drew our own Uro. I realize this gives them one more Uro trigger, but it also starts eating away their resources to continue casting their Uro. Ritual of Soot. Fine with that. And a Narset. Oof, opponent has all the Narsets. Dragonfire is our best draw by far. I suppose I'm completely fine with you just giving me an Uro to cast next turn, opponent. Thank you for that. Tap land. And I will pass turn so that I could use the Blast Zone and cycle my Triome. I don't want to Uro for no card advantage. Well, no card advantage except I cast a card from my graveyard.
I have just the trick for this.
Shark Typhoon, not what we wanted to see there. Yeah, that is lethal through the Uro. Which means, cycle, check to make sure it's tapping our lands in a reasonable manner. Put this up to 3. Oops. Not what we wanted to do. And that is game. Let's see if we would have been able to do it. I saw the 3 and I went for it without thinking. Alright, so if we'd been able to blow it up, we'd have been able to play the Witching Well and draw 2, but I think honestly we'd have just went for the second Uro, got rid of it, drawn a card below it, and had ourselves put to 3 by their Shark. They'd have then blown up the Uro in a land, we'd have untapped, drawn another card, so we would have definitely still had a game here. But as things stand, we are just dead, so. Gonna concede. That was an unfortunate misclick on my part. Went a little too far. Tried to put counters on. And, well, you saw the outcome. I think we had a even shot at winning otherwise. We'd have just needed to find a expansion explosion or our own Shark Typhoon. On the play, Witching Well into other cards against a Lurrus deck. It's against that Lurrus that's making me hesitate to keep. I think we're gonna mull, looking for any kind of interaction or a Growth Spiral hand. Well, there's some kind of interaction, I suppose. We'll get rid of our Mystical Dispute. It's the least likely to do anything. Or, no, I'll get rid of the Negate. No? Yeah, because of how I'm planning on tapping this game, I think I'm gonna get rid of the Dispute. Lead on a Triome. And then depending on what we draw, we'll probably hold open the Negate next turn. Also depends what they do. Alright, this version we're not holding up the Negate. Will not take damage where we do not have to against an aggro deck. We want both of those. The breeding pool first. That way we can go tap land, tap land, tap land, and not have to shock when we play our turn 4 Wilderness Wreck. Still not in a great spot. Especially not with the Butcher growing. Third land, what else do you have, opponent? We cannot stop that. Do you have the oven? I would love to be able to use this negate. Oof, Robber of the Rich. Goodbye, expansion, explosion. They have messed with our scry. Maybe for the best. Not entirely sure yet. Scorching Dragonfire would indeed be a nice draw here. Fabled Passage is also Fabled Passage, I suppose. Pretty sure Fabled Passage is a death sentence, but I have no reason to truly believe that we are just dead yet. Other than the fact that, you know, we are. We need a little too much exile removal and have a little bit too few pieces of it. But this is the Witching Well into Wilderness Reclamation kind of what do you call it? The synergy I'd had in mind when I was going to try this out. It comes down cheap, you don't have to shock yourself to have 2 mana open, and it lets you, you know, use your mana from Wilderness Reclamation if you don't have anything else to do that turn. Alright, Uro would be nice if we were able to keep it on board, but I don't think even that would be enough here. Alright, so play the Uro. Drop a Fabled Passage. Realize that there is not a single thing you can do, and that is it for today. Opponent got the better of us with their fast aggressive start and our fairly non-interactive hand. At some point I'm going to see if I can build a more controlling, less all-in version. I'm also fairly soon going to see if I can just build you a kind of Uro control deck that just uses Uro as its big finisher and otherwise plays a nice reactive game of Magic. Something that current standard is kind of lacking. Even the control deck is tap out for all of its nice big threats and let the opponent try and figure it out, whereas Uro at least is, you know, a cheap enough threat that you get to hold up interaction and still plays at instant speed for all those draw-go fans out there. In any case, that has been it for this video. please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I will say until you have all